Good morning, everyone. It's Kornelia here, and I have a very special guest with me this morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning on January the 26th. Yep, January the 26th. And I thought it would be so valuable for me and my special guest to make this video for you all today, for anyone that is looking to get to know themselves better, that is looking to do deeper work on themselves and have that tool available. So I'm making myself the guinea pig for this experience, and my beautiful guest, Pia. Hi, Pia.
Hi, Cornelia.
Is here with me, and she's going to share we're going to do a live session. We're going to do a live session. And the reason why I wanted to do this, our second time doing it, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because when we did the first one, when she did the session with me, I became more intimate with the calendar, and we'll talk about the calendar in a little while. And I also became very intimate with the energetics and what Pia and Colin are talking about with the time, moving from time into energy. And Pia is going to tell us a little bit more about that. But I just want to let you know, over the years, I have, for those of you that don't know me, I've overcome tremendous trauma in my own life. And being able to move from that place, from trauma into self love and sovereignty, and remembering the truth of who I am, while at the same time facing my own shadows and then also facing the collective shadow. So these are some of the things that we're going to talk about. I felt it would be helpful for us to do this session live so that you all can, partake in getting to know yourself better, getting to know how the energies work, and maybe be of service to you. Welcome, Pia.
Delighted to be here, Cornelia. And I have to say bravo and thank you for your courage and your transparency and being willing to share your private session with the world so that others can be able to experience this. I hope that everybody who is watching this gets so fired up that they're really energetically interested in navigating their lives by energy rather than time, because time is just not any fun anymore. And energy is the exciting way that we're going, the new direction. Also, when we finish this session, after we've gone through all the different descriptions, instead of saying today is January 26th, we will say today is 11 self regulating energy.
I
So,
love that.
so I'll explain a little bit about that too.
Okay,
But
okay.
basically, what I do in a session, I spend 5 hours working on a person's chart with their energy, and then I put it together and compile a report. And then the report is sent to the person. Cornelia, you have your report there. And then after you've had time to integrate it, look through it, gather your questions, then we schedule a consultation so we can talk about all these concepts. And you can ask me whatever questions you want about your own energy and how you're governing in the world, what your gifts are, what your challenges are, your relationships, all of those things. So I find this really helpful.
Yes, and I just want to let the audience know 26 pages of report came in. So this is what we have here. And what's also fantastic about this is that you get to submit I think you said up to 4 or 5 special relationships
Mhm.
that you have with people in your life. This could be your family, this could be your friends, this could be your soul tribe, anyone that you have close special relationships with. And because you're going to see when Pia talks about this, how you and the special relationships, how you guys support each other, and how you are feeding and giving. I think those were the terms, right? Feeding
That's
and
right. Feeding or receiving,
feeding
giving and
or receiving.
receiving.
Yep,
Yes.
yep, yep.
Same meaning. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And so do you want to begin?
Sure. The first thing that I do is start talking about, I'll ask you if you have any questions. And if there's any starting place you would like to start, or would you like me just to go through the chart bit by bit? That's the way I always do a consultation. So each consultation, like each chart, is individual and different. But I think for the purposes today, we'll just start going through the chart. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first thing to notice is that you were born under the influence of Venus in Virgo. Now, Venus in Virgo does not mean your natal position in Western astrology of where Venus was when you were born. It's actually the position of Venus's movement through the sky, which is a five-pointed star. And this is talking about where was the point when you were born? What point were you born into? Because there are always five energies on the Venus star at any given time. And there's the morning star, of course, and there's the evening star. So you have the opportunity to figure out how you are in the world from two different perspectives right there. The first one is morning star, evening star. And with an evening star, you have the opportunity to sort of float through life. You let things just roll off of you. You're sort of a receiver. You can take things in as they come. Relationships are very important to you. Those are attributes of being an evening star. However, Venus in Virgo means that you are very much a self starter, very independent, very much involved in things that are around health. You're interested in health, you're interested in healing, you're interested in anything that supports those topics, and you're interested in organization. You like to order things. You like to make sure your world is in order because that's a Venus and Virgo trait. Making sure that everything is in some semblance of order instead of chaos so that you can work with it, which is really important for you.
Yes, it is because I know that in order for me to be able to function, if there is chaos and in whatever working environment I'm working in, that doesn't give me any harmony to work in. So I have to organize things and have things sorted in order for me to feel like I can function and bring my harmony into that environment.
Which is a gift. And you'll notice as we go through this chart that almost everything has a gift and a challenge within it because we're living here on a planet of duality. So the gift of having this urge for ordering in your personality is it means that you can make the environment around yourself and around other people more harmonious all the time because that's something that you're wanting to do. The challenge in that is not overriding your limits so that what you perceive as orderly for you may impose itself on someone else's sense of order. And I know you well enough, Cornelia, to know that you've balanced that quite well. So
Thank you. Yeah.
that's a good example of how to balance the two things of the gift and the challenge in this aspect. The also that Venus gives you in Virgo, it gives you also the sense of judgment. And for you or anyone else who has Venus in Virgo, this would mean continual self judgment. How can I improve? How can I be better? Judgment of the world. What's wrong with this situation? Judgment of other people. Why are they acting like that? And the key to working with this tendency that's born in your nature is to learn the difference between judgment and discernment because judgment comes with an emotion. It makes you uncomfortable. You don't like it. You're frustrated, you're angry, you're sad, something. Judgment always has an emotion. Discernment, on the other hand, is very objective. Discernment is, maybe I could do that a little bit differently next time. But there's no judgment there. It's just a recognition that maybe I could do something a little differently. Or, wow, I see the world is really out of balance right now. What can I do on my part to help bring the vibration up? That's discernment rather than, oh my gosh, I'm wringing my hands. What are we going to do right now with all this situation? That's the difference between judgment and discernment. And it's really important for anyone, but particularly someone who has Venus in Virgo.
It's interesting because, the whole judgment piece, judgment of self, judgment of events, judgment of other people. I found in my own experience that I have I love the discernment piece, but I put a boundary in my own creation, and that is that I absolutely refuse. I refuse to judge myself. I absolutely refuse to judge myself when I'm at any point in time because I know that I'm always doing my best. I'm always doing my best. And even when I may not feel the best, even when I've gained like 5 pounds, or even when I don't feel pretty, or even whatever it is, I just absolutely refuse it. So that boundary is in place. And since I made that shift, to put a boundary there, to refusing to judge myself. It also helped me with how I see other people, because at the same time, because I know we're all one, and if I don't judge myself, I'm not going to judge you. So first offering it to myself, Venus and Virgo, and and that beautiful mind shift, that subtle discernment that we can use, is to use discernment instead of judgment. It's a subtle awareness shift that we can make, and really remove the word judgment from your vocabulary.
Absolutely. And that shows a lot of work that you've done on yourself. That boundary line that you have put in the sand right there for yourself shows that you've been working on this for a long time. And that helps you to set an example for others, because others will see you not getting upset, but just going, oh, well, I'll do better next time. Or anybody else, they'll do better next time. So that's a really, really self-growth principle to put into place. So yay,
Great.
congratulations on doing that.
Thank you.
So the time of birth in a Pleiadian Earth energy chart is based on nature's cycles. It's not based on midnight like the Gregorian calendar, which is completely arbitrary. You're born into an energy at one particular minute or another particular minute according to some clock. The Pleiadian Earth energy calendar and chart actually does use the timing that you were born in Gregorian, because it's trying to help you understand that it's about the energy, not the time, but it uses that pinpoint moment. But it doesn't say your birthday is this day or that day according to midnight. The time changes at sunset. When the energy goes into sunset, you shift energies, the world shifts energies. A whole new universal energy comes in, which is energies from the cosmos, and a whole new earth energy comes in, which is the energy that we're here to explore. There are 13 universal energies from the cosmos, and in each chart I number them all the way from 1, which is initiating energy, to 13, which is completing and integrating. And there are 20 earth energies that we're here to explore. The earth energies start at the particular one. It doesn't matter where you start because they're not really hierarchical, but wherever you are, there are 20 of them. And you have 2 to explore, Cornelia, because you were born at that auspicious time of sunset. Most people do not have 2 energies to explore. Most people have 1 universal energy and 1 earth energy, and that's their task for this lifetime. But you were born 17 minutes before sunset. That means that you carry 2 universal energies and you carry 2 earth energies.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So your universal energies are 11 and 12. 11 is the energy of enlightening. It's the energy of illumination. It's bringing light into the world. And 12 is the energy of resonating with, grasping everything, seeing the big picture, hearing it all, knowing how to put it all together. That's the 12 energy. So you carry both of those in pretty equal balance, which I think is a pretty fantastic combination. Yeah.
Wow.
The earth energies that you have are remembering and loving. Remembering is an energy that is actually the connection point of all opposites. It's the place where you can feel this is an opposite and this is an opposite, and you can either feel conflict from that and tension from that, or you can go, here's 2 perspectives I can harmonize, which is what you're here to harmonize those opposite polarities.
Yes. And I mean, now, that you're saying this to me, 5 years ago, when I wrote my book, Peace, the Flip Side to Anger, in that book, I talk about the opposites of what's the opposite of betrayal. The opposite of that is trust. What's the opposite of victim consciousness? The opposite of that is empowered creator. What's the opposite of abandonment? The opposite is security. And because these were all emotional core wounds that I was transmuting within myself, and use that process, the process you were just talking about, remembering.
Remembering actually has the ability to remember who you are from all perspectives. It gives you a great opportunity to incorporate parallel life memory, dualistic viewpoints, all of those things, exactly as you were explaining in your book. It's a great energy. I love it.
Thank you.
I love all the energies, though. They all have something marvelous and magical about them. And each of the earth energies has a downside. Like we talked about before, there are two things to look at each of the earth energies. There's a high vibration and a low vibration. The high vibration for remembering is absolutely pulling things together and seeing how to harmonize them for peace and remembering that we're all one. The low vibration is feeling the conflict and being stressed by it. So when you do your work as you've been doing, you stay in the high vibration most of the time. The other earth energy that you have is loving energy. And loving earth energy is about the dynamic tension that you carry of the opposites that you perceive. Loving energy is a very interesting energy because it is the energy that carries the Christ consciousness. It is the energy that carries love. It carries Venus energy more strongly than any other of the earth energies. Morning star, evening star, opposite polarities. Loving energy is about the kind of love that Mary Magdalene shows us. Mary Magdalene does not show a soft, warm, fuzzy type of love. Mary Magdalene is stand up, say no, fight for justice, because this is love at its essence. This is love at its core. So this is a very dynamic energy, loving energy, where tensions come to the top. There can be a nervous energy that goes along with it. You might find you need to take a walk to release nervous energy or do something to release it when you feel the dynamic tension within you. You might have a tendency to overstimulate your mind, thinking too much when you feel that dynamic tension. There's a constant need for communication. That shows up in the work you've chosen to do because you want to communicate your journey to help other people. You want to communicate what you've learned and what you know to help other people be able to move forward. That's the communication that shows up.
Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting most about this is that there is a dynamic tension between a need for security and a need for freedom. And my view on that is that the surest, most certain way to find security is in your freedom. Because when you are free, you have no need for security because it's all right there within your heart. Your heart guides you, makes you free, shows you which way to go, so you don't need any external security measures. Does that make
Exact-
sense?
Oh yeah, and all of it makes sense. And then also the energy of the Magdalene energy. I always also bring Mother Mary into it as well, and bring that mother energy into the space where the conflict is, so that she can rise. I can rise in that highest spiritual wisdom. Wisdom, not weapons. Love, not weapons, but fierce. It's like a warrior. A warrior that is not going to stand for any betrayal, for any abuse, for any violence, for any disharmony. She's not going to stand for it, and she demands respect, love, and honor for herself and for her children and for the earth.
And that is exactly what loving energy is all about. So well said. Thank you for saying that so clearly. So if you look at the calendar, you have a calendar here.
I do. Uh-huh.
Okay. So look at one loving energy that began on the 16th of January. Yep. And this whole blocked in period from there down to the 28th, this entire period is governed by loving energy. And if we happen to start looking at the world right now, we can see in this time the conflict, the dynamic tension, the polarization, all of that is there, along with the need to stand up and speak the truth, the need to stand up for justice, the need to do this in a loving, harmonious way, but it needs to be done with strength. So we're living in a time like that. We had the American inauguration with all the tension around that on the 20th in this particular period. So in the calendar, there are 13-day periods that have the 13-day periods have one of the universal energies on each day. And then they have also the one of the earth energies down at the bottom. So if you look at the 16th where the big blue one is, that's one loving energy. And that's the day that we entered into this period of loving energy. When you move to the next day, the 17th, you see the universal energy is two, But the earth energy moves to feeling energy. It's an Eastern energy. And then it goes on to 3, and you move into a northern energy, devoting, and so on throughout the 13 days. You're cycling through 2 patterns of energy simultaneously. But the one energy where loving is carries over that energy as an overlighting energy for the entire 13 days, no matter what else is going on. So that's one really good way to look at the calendar. Another good way to look at it, if you'll pick it up again, Cornelia, if you look down at the 26th today, move it up just a little bit. There you go. 26th, that's your universal energy. 11, 26th. Go over
Oh,
just there,
right here.
right. That's one of your 2 universal energies. The next day, tomorrow, is 12, the other of your universal energies. So in terms of universal energy, you relate very well to both of those 2 energies. Now look down below that and you'll see that today, 11, is self-regulating energy. Now go down to this 11, this one,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right there. That's self-regulating energy. That's a northern energy. And 12 is catalyzing, which is a Western energy. We'll talk about your directions in a little while, but what this gives you a chance to do is look and see which days are best for you. You personally get along very well with Southern and Western energies. And so 12 catalyzing would be an empowering day for you to do something important you want to do. But 11 today is not so bad either. However, Northern energies are a little more challenging for you. Not bad, but challenging. So you can use this calendar this way by looking at what your own energy is and integrating it with the energies that are present on the planet. And that's what I'm hoping to help everybody understand how to do so that all of us can move in freedom, flow, grace, ease through whatever is present. We can integrate our own energies and be part of that flow.
Yes, I love that. And that's one of the reasons why I felt when we did the session that the way that you explained the energies, because I've had the calendar and this way, and I know many other people have the calendar too, but to really become intimate with working with this energy, because it takes a shift to go away, to move away from the Gregorian calendar
Yes.
into this new way of being. And so it's very supportive when you can let go of time and not because everything is speeding up. The mind, if the mind is attached to the time of, oh my gosh, how much do I have to do, you are already in a state of hurry and in a state of panic and setting your body up for a non-harmonious environment,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, but the heart, on the other hand, is in alignment and in attunement with the energy. And we're trying to move out of the head space into the heart space on a regular basis, which is why I think this calendar and my work with this calendar and Cullen's work with what we do with this calendar is so important to help people be empowered to be who you really are and to use your gifts and to get rid of all the fears. That's what this work is all about.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you're doing this work and that we're doing this video today, sharing with many others that are ready to become the conduits of the new earth, the new way to live in freedom, to co-create heaven on earth. And
Yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, take your calendar, if you will, and flip over to May. Um, nope, that's not it. Hold on, let me find it. I want to find your evolutionary guidance energy. July the 4th. Go to July the 4th.
Beautiful pictures too. Gorgeous, gorgeous
Glad
art.
you like it.
Yeah.
So on July the 4th, you'll see another big blue 1, and that signifies you're moving into another 13-day period. And this particular 13-day period is governed by evolving energy. So that will be the overlighting energy for all this 13 days. Now, the reason I brought that up now is because you have the evolutionary guidance of evolving. That is your evolutionary guidance. So, like the 13 days having an overlighting energy, you have an overlighting energy of your life. This is your path. This is your guidance system that's showing you what needs to come next. You can put it down now if you want. I think people have seen that. Thank you. We'll come back to it though in a minute. So the evolutionary guidance of evolving is all about really huge changes, earth-shaking changes. I imagine that your life, you mentioned that you've gone through a lot, and I imagine that what you have gone through has been really, really unnerving in some ways, unsettling in some ways, and brought you profound growth and change in many ways. Yes?
Absolutely. I just want to, let the audience know, for the people that don't know me, that don't know my story, which I've openly shared, that I was suicidal for most of my life. As an empathic soul, now when I think about it today, and I think about how many times I was faced with that shadow of suicide, wanting to take my own life and not be here, as an empathic soul, I realized today that a lot of times when I was coming up against that shadow, it wasn't even my own shadow anymore. And when I felt like I wanted to take my own life, I was possibly in the collective shadow, or even in the shadow of absorbing the emotions from people around me. Now that I know the difference between my own energy field and my own vibration, and know how emotion works through the deep work that I've done, is has really been able to transmute all of those energies out of my life, and really given birth to myself, to resurrect myself in the new, as new, and be so grateful that I'm here, and that I'm in this body, and that I did not succeed, which I know that I did not succeed at committing uh, suicide and killing myself, that I had so much intervention, so much divine intervention from my team to not let that happen. Because it was really by the grace of God, by the grace of the miracle, that I am here today, because of so many times I've tried to take action. And that was what my life was. And that was 20 years ago, since I have been free from those wounds. However, uh, now it's a brand new beginning. It's a brand new beginning, and getting to know yourself, working with your own ecology, with your own DNA, knowing how energy works. That's why having a session like this with Pia is really helpful, and Colin too, because it's going to help you get more intimate understanding how your energy works and what energies you're working with.
Yes, and a clearer view of all of that what makes you you. The thing about evolving evolutionary guidance, and you have shared your story to help other people understand, but with the evolving evolutionary guidance, it's about continually moving away from your rational mind into your heart so that you become more and more spontaneous. And it also opens up abundance to you on many levels: abundance of friends, abundance of help, as you just mentioned, abundance of support, abundance in all kinds of ways. So, along with unexpected and constant changes in your life, this particular evolutionary guidance is about giving you earth shaking experience that bring a different level of abundance into your life. I think that all of our evolutionary guidances, no matter what they may be, in this time that we're living, are leading us to leave the story behind, that the story doesn't matter anymore, that we don't have to tell anybody what we've been through, because we're not there. We're not that person. We're not living that story. That's gone. So, part of the evolutionary path that each of us is on is saying, this is who I am now. Doesn't matter what happened that made me this way. The point is, I've done some shadow work here and I've recognized a thing or two. Let me share with you what I've found. And that's the true purpose of being able to work with your evolutionary guidance, to recognize and claim your gifts and empower yourself to be who you are. Now, we mentioned that there are different um, vibrations of both of those. The evolutionary guidance does not have the dual vibration quite in the same way that the personality does, because the personality energies, your universal and your earth energies that make up your personality, are all about how we react or respond to life. That's about how we react to what's going on. That's in the personality. The evolutionary guidance is what's there to push you forward, to push you and say, okay, grow through this. Now we need to do that and keep you moving in the right direction. So that's what that's all about.
No kidding. I definitely am in alignment with that because I'm always looking at, moving forward, taking the energy and moving forward into the next evolutionary space. Every day, every moment is an opportunity to do that.
And one thing that would be important for you to know about that is that your evolutionary guidance comes from an Eastern direction. And you can see that on the calendar. Each Earth energy has the directional energy right beside it. So if you look at one here evolving, it shows right beside that E for East. And that shows you exactly, oh, it's an Eastern direction. Okay. And that helps you understand. Now we're going to talk a little bit about directional energies for you. Each person has a different directional influence. There is an empowering influence, there's a compatible, comfortable influence, there's a mysterious influence, and there's a challenging influence. You have in yours, because you have the double energy of the West and the South in your personality. Your most empowering energy for your self growth in your personality is going to come from the West or the South. So, days that have Western and Southern energy, or people who have Western and Southern energy in their makeup, are going to be the most empowering for you. Eastern energy is comfortable for you, compatible for you, but also somewhat mysterious for you. Your evolutionary guidance is Eastern, so you align with it, but that's also where the mystery lives for you. Eastern energy, all about new beginnings, starting over in the now moment, um, resonates with the color red, which means movement and life. And if you think about the birth process and all the red that goes along with birth and then bringing in something new, that's the energy of movement and life for your particular evolutionary guidance. Your personality energies of the South and the West, those relate to the color yellow and the color blue, which represent illumination and joy. So you will be more comfortable, feel more empowered on days that have Southern and Western energy, around people who have Southern and Western energy, and even in locations that are more Western and Southern. You live in a Western location, it's good for you because it's the West. You would thrive also very well in somewhere that was in the South. You would not thrive so very well to move to the North or the Northeast. So those things can be helpful in your determining your relationships, where you live, what you choose to do each day. It's all wrapped up in there.
Because of that communication that we had and what you're telling me right now, I am now asking, where is my ideal place for me to thrive, the location wise, that is in alignment with what you're talking about with that southern western place? Where is that place? I've been here for a long time. I've been here for the last 20 years, the longest time I've ever lived anywhere, because I've moved like 38 times before coming to this place. I needed this place, this grounding, to have some stability and really work on myself and get to know myself and remember who I am. And I've done that. And now I'm ready to, go to my next place, wherever that is. But I am definitely asking now and looking at that. So thank you, Pia.
That's exciting. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
I have the personal opinion that we get stuck in old patterns if we become too familiar with where we are, that we need either to travel a lot to shake us up and to remove old patterns and show us different ways of being in the world, or we need to move and experience living in different locations. I think that's an absolute soul growth requirement. Either travel or move often enough so that you get a different experience, because we're here to experience all the different aspects we came here to experience.
Yes.
So bravo, congratulations for you for doing that.
Thank you.
So we're going to go to the directions now in regard to friends,
Mhm.
colleagues, whatever. And I'm going to start by looking at the Venus star. Do you want to hold up page 13 and let people see so I
Yes.
can explain how the movement works?
Yes. Okay, here we go. This is the Venus star.
Now take your finger and trace the star movement like this, like you would draw a star like a child.
Like
From the
this?
foot, yeah, not there, just from the, go to the bottom, go from the foot, other foot, other foot.
This one.
That one. Now draw a line straight with your finger, straight to the head, to the top. Yep, and then bring it straight down to the other foot. Great. That's the pattern of the karmic energy of the star. That's the way the energy moves in karmic relationships. It moves through the heart of the star and also through your own heart. So doesn't mean karma in the way we typically sense karma with karmic relationships with people of debts to be paid and things to be corrected. It means deeply connected through the heart. It means intense relationships in one way or another. The other way that the energy moves is around the star. Take your finger where it says Scorpio Libra.
Right
Yep.
here.
And draw it around the star, up to the top to the head, over here to the right, and then down to the right, and then down to the, keep going. That's the creative cycle. That's the way Venus moves in the sky, and that cycle like that. Now, these two cycles of movement are present in our life all the time. The Venus star changes over our lifetime. You've already had changes in your lifetime from the way it moves. But right now, if we look at all the points that have been in your life, you can see you at the top are Venus is the Virgo evening star. Over on your left, when you were born, Scorpio was another Venus point on your star. We still have Scorpio on the Venus star right now, but it's going to change in October of 2022. It'll change to Libra. And then if you go over to the right, where you have Cancer and Gemini, when you were born, Cornelia, Cancer was on that point of the star. Cancer has now been replaced by Gemini, and Gemini is on that place. And then go down to the next place on the star. Aries was there when you were born, and Aries is still there now and will be for some time. And then if you go to the next place, Aquarius was there when you were born, and Capricorn has replaced Aquarius now. So that sort of gives you an idea of the energies that you relate with and how you relate to them. The ones that are on the side, Scorpio, Libra, Cancer, Gemini, those we call the helping hands. Those are the ones in the creative cycle that you're either there to help or they're there to help you. The ones at the feet are your karmic relationships. And those are the ones that are really intense for you. So the energy of the star feeds in the creative cycle from the left to the right. So anything that the left of your head, where it says Virgo evening star, where you are at the top, anything on the left, all of these on the left-hand side, those are flowing energy towards you, Cornelia. They are feeding you. The ones on the bottom, on the right, over here, Cancer, Gemini, and Aries at the bottom, those are relationships that you feed. Now, feeding can be positive or negative. Many people might say, well, my father's on my foot there, but he was abusive. And how is that feeding? Feeding can be critical, it can be abuse, it can be negative, or it can be supportive. I see you, I love you. Feeding can go in either direction. We're not talking here about whether it was good or bad, harmful or helpful. We're simply talking about the flow of the energy and how people relate in lives. So in your particular Venus star, you might want to put it down. And I'm going to show you from here. Down at the foot, you have S, who is at the Aquarius point, and S is a friend of yours who is on your foot providing stability and also will be feeding you from the left. Over up on the right-hand side, where Cancer and Gemini are, you have M, D, and C. 3 different friends there, or people, I don't know who they are, in your life that you are feeding them. So you can see where the feeding relationship goes. You can look at the relationship and see how the energy flows. Are you the one that picks up the phone and calls somebody? Are they the ones that always say, hey, let's go do something? Where is the energy stimulating from in the relationship? Where does it originate? You can let it go now. Thank you. In my view, anybody who understands the feeding relationship will begin to sense, oh, this person's feeding me something. I feel the energy flow. And if it's a positive relationship, you will say, I want to give something back, because that's an energetic exchange. That's the way it works. People who are not aware of the flow of energies and who are not doing spiritual work to grow, they'll just feel the feeding relationship and not know what it is. Why is he always telling me what to do? Why does she always want to help? I want to do it myself. Or that's if somebody's feeding you and you don't like it or don't understand it. Or on the other hand, why do I have to always do that for you? Why can't you do it yourself if you're feeding them? So it's really helpful to understand the nature of the feeding relationship in your relationships. It helps you navigate how to work with anybody. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it brought, it's something that I felt, but it brought a definite validation to, and makes it more joyful too, because that, oh, okay, yeah, that really, and now what you can do is you can really nurture and you can really work with it by knowing that information. And really, this is what this is all about, right? It's
It is.
about knowing how to work with energy. It's about
It's
knowing how to work with the energy, with the people in your life, the people that you nurture, the people that you love, whether it's your family, whether it's your clients, whether it's business associates, it doesn't matter. Like Pia said, it's about the people that you relate with on a personal, close level.
Mhm. It also gives people who are working through their dark times and they're trying to look back to say, why did this happen? It gives them a sense of, oh, well, no wonder my mother was always doing this, or no wonder my father was always doing that. So you can look at it in terms of that for explanation about how things evolved in your life as well. And if you put that energy together with the energy that people carry directionally, you have a lot of information. For instance, we looked at on your right hand that we have M, D, and C are all on your right hand where you feed them. However, M was a double Western energy. You, Cornelia, are empowered by Western energy. So that's a very strong relationship for you. You're feeding her, yet you relate to her or him very, very well. D, the next one down, has a northern personality, but an Eastern evolutionary guidance. You have an Eastern evolutionary guidance. So you can see, oh, I see why we have some of the same direction that we're going, but we might disagree on how we're going to get there because her personality and yours are different. She's northern, you're Western and southern. Couldn't get the word out. Then you have C, and she has just exactly the opposite of that. She has an Eastern personality, which is very compatible with yours, but a Northern evolutionary guidance. So you get along to day very well, but she may have a different direction that she intends to go than the way you want to go. So those things play out very interestingly. Then you go over to your left foot and you have S who is supporting you on your left foot and feeding you in a karmic relationship. And she has a double Eastern energy, which is east, like your Eastern evolutionary guidance. So that's going to be a very feeding, stabilizing, and compatible relationship for you. So all of those things play into relationships to help you understand your world and your life. It's really fun. I love this. I love doing this for people.
Yes, I mean, I learned so much from, I mean, first of all, the whole entire chart, everything that you laid out, the 26 pages of the chart, of the information that's shared about, how the Palladian energies work, how all of the how the Venus star works, how everything was laid out and how you lay it out. And then that's a lot of information to take in. And again, a lot of work that goes in on your part, Pia, because you said it takes you about 5 hours to put this all together. And then you visit with each person then, and you go over everything, and it's all again so that the person can become empowered and work with their own ecology and work with the energy that is present in their life and the people that they're relating with.
Because this is all about energy, I absolutely refuse to do computer generated charts. I have to turn my intuition into the chart that I'm working with, set aside the time, and really feel the energies, applying the knowledge that I have and the wisdom I've been given by my beloved Pleiadian friends, put that all together to be able to help the person the best I can, but I will not do computer generated charts. So that's why it takes so long. In case any of your listeners are wondering why I can't just plug in a formula,
Right, right. Well, you know, when I was thinking about this morning before coming here, I was on my walk and I was thinking about introducing you. And always the first thought that comes to me always is my Palladian friends. This is how I see you and Colin. For the audience that's listening to us for the first time, Pia, Colin, and I, we come together on the first of every month. We create a video and we come together to share our perspectives on the current Earth energies, on the current energies that are happening on the planet. We share our perspectives and we have enlightening conversation to raise consciousness and offer tips and ways of living in the new earth. And so, but that's how I see you and Colin is my Palladian friends. And every time when I'm with you, Pia, I just always feel such a harmonious way of being validated, of being received, because it's wonderful, you know, when you've done work on yourself. And even if you're just beginning, it's wonderful to have another person that can hold the space for you and offer you the guidance, the wisdom, and someone that is seeing you, that is really seeing you. That is so valuable. You know, seeing you with your shadows, seeing you with everything that is there, and understanding that this is what your life journey is about, right? And we are here to evolve. That's why we're here, and it isn't easy. It's
No,
ridiculously hard. Ascension is like very, very hard to, you know, to move beyond, to bring that truth, that remembrance back into the present moment. And
challenging, as our Pleiadian friends say, challenging but not impossible. And that's what we're here to do, is to meet the challenge and take the opportunity that's in it. We, for those who are curious and don't know about what we're talking about here, Cullen and I offer international live calls twice a month where people can actually listen to our Palladian friends, Larkma, talk about what's going on in the world and ask questions to them. So that's available as something that we do along with the shows that we do with Cornelia. We're all in this together, all one, trying to bring in a larger awareness of the true reality.
yes, and I'm going to put all the links. I'm going to put the link where Pia has the calendar and even where you can contact her for these sessions. And I highly recommend that you do that, especially moving forward in 2021 and 2022 with all the changes that are happening. It's just going to give you another empowerment tool that you can use to make your life better right now. And also, you know, go and check out the live calls that Pia and Colin do with Larkma twice a month. This is actually how I got to know them over the years, is listening to those calls. And then when I had the opportunity to have them as guests on my show, we developed a friendship. And now, you know, here is Pia. She is in Cyprus, all the way around the world, and here I am. And what time is it over there now, by the way?
It's 6:15 at night.
6:15. It's now 7, 8, no, 8:20 here. And I'm in Washington State, LaConner. And here we are collaborating, building our new world together,
That's right.
supporting each other, loving each other during these challenging times, and to show that it's possible, that yes, we are, you know, accomplishing this superhuman task at hand, and that is to bring heaven on earth and create a paradise that is inhabitable for all of us to live in, that's sustainable. And here we are doing this good work. And so it's always an honor and a pleasure, Pia, to be with you and also to help the audience to, you know, make their life better.
Thank you, Cornelia. I feel the same way. It's a
Yeah.
great joy to do this work together.
Yes.
So back to the chart. Can you go to page 14?
Okay.
Show the listeners page 14.
Okay. Page 14.
This is the position of the Venus star now. And you can see that right now we are over here on the right where it says Gemini. One up. Go up. There you go. That's where Venus is now. We are under Venus as the morning star in Gemini right now. We will move down to the next space. Venus will move into Aries as the evening star on March 25th. So we're in a time right now of a lot of communication, a lot of talking, a lot of back and forth about what needs to be done. That's what Venus is bringing socially right now. In March, end of March, when Venus moves into Aries, it's going to be about taking action. Okay, what do we need to do? We want to take action. And we'll be under that influence from March the 25th of this spring until January of 2022. Next place over of the next foot. Then we move into Venus in Capricorn, which is all about structure. What kind of structures do we want to get rid of, and what kind of structures do we want to build? And we'll be focusing on structure and how we want to structure our world from January of 2022 until October of 2022. When we get to October of 22, Venus moves out of Scorpio into Libra, and Libra will be a time of balance. So we can look forward to October of 2022 as a time of amazing balance coming into the planet and into humanity, something I think all of us have been working for and waiting for a long time.
You know, I'm so excited about it. I have Venus in my natal chart in Scorpio. So, you know, that part has been, you know, the challenge also, because having Venus in Scorpio, it's like, wow, transform everything, transform everything, right? And Venus moving into Libra, which I am a Libra also. And I love, you know, again, being ruled by Venus. I love that. October 20, October 20th, 2022 is what you're saying?
October 22, 2022. A lot of
October,
twos in there.
oh, yeah, a lot of twos. So that's actually my birthday, October 22, 20, October 22nd is my birthday. So
Wow.
on that day, I'm going to get married.
That is a very auspicious time for you, Cornelia, because your personality in Western astrology, your sun sign is going to be completely in alignment with where we are under the Venus influence. And Venus is the influence of love and justice. So that's going to be a really auspicious time for you. The reason I gave you the star to show you is so people can see how they can also look at their lives. You just said, in October 22, 2022, on my birthday, I'm going to get married. You've set that intention. People may look at where they are and see what's coming and how it aligns with their own energies and decide, oh, look, this is a good time for me to go do this or go do that. So that's an important piece to be able to have.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's move into the shadow cycles and talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
That's something that Cullen and I worked with for probably about 10 years when Larkma first gave us this system. And this system is very much similar to the Mayan calendar, because the Pleiadians are the ones who actually gave the Mayan calendar, which was always about energy, never about time. But it fell into disuse and misunderstanding, and people began to think it was about cycles of time, and all other kind of weird concepts grew up around it. So our Pleiadian friends came along and said, all right, the world needs a new wake-up call to study energy again and understand that this journey is about energy, not about time. So they worked with us and they gave us the modern names of the energies, how, so that we can relate to them, how the cycles work together, what the energies carry, all of that. One of the most empowering things Cullen and I found is the sense of the shadow cycles. We all go through shadow cycles about every 60 days, each of us individually. However, most of us, if we don't know what's happening, think we're having a week of bad luck or a series of bad hair days, and we don't think anything more about it than that. We just put our head under the covers and wait for it to be over. But the purpose of a shadow cycle is to trigger and bring up everything that's uncomfortable to you, everything that you're reacting to and that you're emotional about, so that you can get a new perspective and figure out how to do it differently. So the shadow cycles have a real purpose, deeply uncomfortable, a lot of serious work, and richly beneficial when you figure out what they are and how to work with them. What we figured out was when you looked at the calendar retroactively, we could say, oh, that's why the car broke down, the washing machine broke, and the person didn't show up for their appointment. It all shows up in that week. How did we react to that? Well, like everybody else, we were frustrated and upset. But knowing now, oh, a shadow cycle is going to look like this again, we can expect some controversy. we can respond differently. That strengthens the core of our being. It strengthens our relationships, and it helps us be in the world in a different way. So shadow cycles are immensely important. You spiral through different levels of consciousness. You are born with one particular consciousness that is yours, that you're interested in and work from. Your particular one, Cornelia, is community consciousness. You are interested in community, whether that's your own community there in Washington State or the community of the world, the plants, the trees, the animals. You're very much governed by community. But you get a chance to explore all of the other energies and their level of awareness, whether it's individual, universal, global, or community, through the shadow cycles. You go through one shadow cycle with an emphasis on one particular type of awareness every 60 days. And in that cycle, you can learn to see things differently. At the end of a set of shadow cycles, you come to your spiritual birthday. That is the celebration point, the graduation point. I've finished a whole round of shadow cycles. I'm going to start again at a new level because I'm a new person. So if you flip back to your calendar again and you look at July the 14th, your shadow cycle would be July the 14th at sunset. That is your spiritual birthday, because that is the energy that you are born into. At 5:17 p.m. on that day, when you were born, the energies were universal energy 11 and universal energy 12. And here it is repeating again, remembering and loving your earth energy. So those energies will feel more familiar to you than any other energy. So you can circle that time as your spiritual birthday. The energies prior to that in that shadow cycle, starting on the 4th of July, will feel more like the tension that you may have felt when you were pushing to be born, when you were pushing to get here, because it's the push to move into another level of being you. So that's the spiritual birthdays, which I find pretty exciting to work with.
It is. I just want to say something about the shadow. So the shadow part is, is really where the gold is. I
Yeah.
find the shadow is where the gold is, because really through the shadow, that's how I learned to heal myself, to love myself, to bring source into the present moment. That's how I learned how to do it, when the shadow was activated. When
That's
my
right.
own shadow was activated, I was able to sit and be with the pain, be with the uncomfortable energy, be with whatever was, and not bring judgment to it, not bring anything but my presence to it, and be present with it. and and then actually, just by bringing that pure presence, bringing that pure love, the truth of who you are, into that present moment when the shadow is there, that is when the shadow merges with the old lower human self, who's present also, and then the two become one.
Shining light into the shadow dissolves. That's absolutely powerful. Yes. Thank you.
And so you're going to talk to us now about collective shadow.
Yes, the collective of humanity also has a shadow cycle. It doesn't happen every 60 days. It happens every 260 days, which is one full cycle of Venus. So every 260 days, we have a shadow cycle for the collective, which means once or twice a year. This year we have one, and it's the period of May 29th through June 17th. And that's a period when you can look for anything that is you can look for anything that is upsetting, unbalanced, emotional, triggering, conflictual, competitive. All those energies come into play during a collective shadow cycle. And the reason for it is very obvious. Humanity learned to do it differently, learn to do it with love. Because this work that we're doing is not so well known, we think not enough people understand how to use and benefit these shadow cycles. But if we all start working on our own shadow, then the collective shadow cycles will be far less intense, and we can make a difference in the world. Because that's what makes it happen. Clear up our own shadows, and things around us and in the world change.
Absolutely. And I think this is important to know, that upcoming we have this collective shadow cycle that's going to be present, and that's the energy that we're going to be working with. And then if we can approach it from a place of, hey, community, we're facing the collective shadow. Let's bring our love to it. Let's transmute. Let's be with it, and let's evolve and grow together so that we can create and inhabit an earth that we originally intended.
Yes. There are vortex days that I point out in the chart, and vortex days simply mean two cycles of energy coinciding together to make for a very intense experience. Intense does not mean bad, and it doesn't mean good. It can be blissful when you're having a happy day, or it can be I'm going to cry all day when you're having a not so happy day. It just means look for intense energies. And when I do a chart, I go through and I star all the vortex days that are on your shadow cycles so that you can know those are days to pay particular attention to how you're responding to life in the world. So the last thing that I do in the chart is I give you a reference sheet of 19 different references so that you can see where this work comes from and you can dig into it more deeply if you're interested in. And that's on pages 25 and 26 if you're looking for it, Cornelia.
Yeah, I am. I was just, yeah, there's a lot of resources here.
Yeah. So
There's,
there are a lot of resources that are included with this so that you have more places to go the deeper you want to explore. And of course, if you want to have consultations with me, we can always care more deeply that way too. The calendar itself, which you have seen,
yep,
the calendar is based on the book Pleiadian Earth Energy Astrology,
yep.
which is the book that explains in depth all of these things, but it doesn't do a chart for you to tell you. You can look up what your energies are, but there's a lot of nuances that you won't find there. So it's really beneficial to have both the book, well, all three, the book, the calendar, and a personal chart.
And
And
a
the last,
personal session.
yeah, well, the
These
personal
these
session
are
does
all
it.
powerful. These are all valuable tools of self discovery, or these are all valuable tools of getting to know yourself better so that you can heal, grow, and evolve. And having a personal session with you, like I said earlier, is so valuable because you're seen. You're
Thank you.
seen, and you're really truly seen. And just being in Pia's energy, as you can tell, when people are around her, they absolutely love the vibration, love the frequency, love the communication, and
Thank
so
you.
I do.
Thank you, Cornelia. I appreciate that very much. And that's how I feel when I'm working with people. I love working with people. The consultation comes with the chart. There's no extra charge for your initial consultation. Future consultations do have a charge, but the initial one comes with the chart. So it's part of the package. There's two other things that I offer also. I do relationship charts for people who want to have a deeper look at their relationship and how their relationships form their own energy. The requirement is that you have to have, both partners have to have an individual chart done first before I can do a relationship chart, because I need that information to be able to look and go deeper. And the other thing I do is a child's guidance chart for mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles who want to see how to foster the gifts that their children have and bring them forward to come alive and help them overcome their challenges. I do children's guidance charts too.
Oh
So
my
those,
God, Pia, I didn't know. I think that's so awesome. That's so valuable, especially for the children that are born today, the young parents, and even, if you're having challenges with your kids, because these kids that they're really wired for the new way and really learning how to not program them, but how to enhance their gifts, right?
yes, to
Yeah,
empower them to be who they are and do what they came here to do.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you're just offering so many wonderful services, and then also let's remind the audience of all the amazing free work that we do as well with the two calls that you guys offer with Larkma, and then all the many podcasts that you guys show up, because I know you show up with Janet on her podcast too, and then also we do one once a month. So there's much information that's shared that is given freely, and all to help to support our global community.
Absolutely. We list all of our interviews on our website, both websites. We have two websites, which Cornelia is going to list on the video.
Yeah.
We have two different websites, and we also have all of our articles that we've written because we write internationally for articles, all of our books. There's lots and lots of information there that you can access blogs that we write, sharing newest information. We just want to share whatever we can to help people raise their vibration and empower them to be the light that they are.
Yeah, and there's like a living library. So, whenever I love consciousness so much is being able to, you know, um, eat up the vibration of just taking it all in. And so that's what we're here to do, is share that with you. So Pia, thank you so much for, doing this live with me. And
So,
yeah, it was totally fun. And thank you, audience, for listening and tuning in. We'll see you again. We'll see you all in 1 week from now when we'll be back, and we'll be doing our live monthly call. And all the information and everything, all the links are shared in the YouTube description. While you're there, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. That also helps us, inform more people. Thank you so much, Pia.
thank you, Cornelia. I look forward to being with you again soon.
Sounds
Bye,
good. Thanks,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks for your time. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.